Okay, to finish this sort of exercise, this simple text animation and what is more sort of complicated, and I'll quickly review this mask layer thing. We're going to add sound. Many of you have asked about sound or sort of talked about sound, but I think it's going to become important. Oops, I'm on the wrong file here. It's going to become important to sort of start incorporating sound so that we can make our movies more complex. I have sort of stated in relation to this project that you're heading into, we're not making a music video, you're not to include the sound if you're using a song from that in your video or in your movie. Yet we might want to add sound effects, and there's lots of different places to find sound effects, which I'll talk about. But in this case, we're going to use this simple twinkle. I have, I'll just play it. We can test it. There we go. Sound is very easy. What we're going to basically be doing is inserting some keyframes and putting them in particularly sort of relevant moments. Okay. So let's take a look here. Adding sound to your movie, step 34. We're going to import the wave right there. And then it says create a new layer called Twinkle Sound 1 and Twinkle Sound 2. So I'm going to go here and get a new layer. Call this Twinkle Sound 1. And we want Twinkle Sound 2. Now, basically what we're going to be doing is dropping this sound file in where the twinkle comes out. Okay, so it says click on the frame 1 of the Twinkle Sound 1 layer, and that's right here. Okay, and grab the twinkle.wave from the library and just drop it on the stage. What we're doing is we're basically putting in, and if you remember correctly, Twinkle 1 comes in during the first frame here. So the twinkle sound is going to load as the first word twinkle comes in. Okay. Step 39 says insert a keyframe at frame 60. Frame 60 is where our Twinkle Sound 2 comes in. So I'm going to go up here. I'm on my Twinkle Sound 2 layer. I'm going to insert a keyframe. And I'm going to grab the wave, the .wave file, and add it there. Okay. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to load up, as it sort of goes through that timeline, it's going to load up our twinkle.wave as soon as twinkle sort of appears in each of these instances. Okay. So, let's take a look. Here's, you can probably hear mine. And then here comes little star. Okay. One more time. Now, I'm going to close this out and I'm just going to sort of recap because I know there's a lot in that last video. Let's sort of start from the beginning or start from sort of what's new. The twinkle sort of graphics going across should be pretty straightforward. This is a graphic tweenie. Now, this relationship between the mask and the masked, I keep saying that sort of silly masked, is quite important. Okay, remember, we have, and I'm going to sort of go up here to where star is. Okay, right here on my star mask layer, that's the word star going across. My masked is the actual graphic. Okay, so it's important that we sort of understand this relationship between the masked and the masked. Okay, you'll notice that when we look at this thing in the regular .fla file, you'll see that we see that entire star thing. It's not going to show us that relationship. That happens when we make the SWF. Okay, so I want your example exercise that you hand in here for text to look pretty much exactly like this. Okay, the new sort of elements here are the mask layers, which is a good way to sort of introduce visual elements in relation to text. Perhaps your text might want to look like a visual element. It might not just want to look like text. It also sort of introduces this idea of a masked layer, which we can use with graphics, which you can use with animated characters. There's lots of different ways to sort of use those. And secondly, we introduced sound. If you're looking for sound, you can find sound effects by Googling free sound effects. There's a website called SoundJ, as in J-A-Y, SoundJ. I'll post a link to that that is quite extensive. Most of the sounds are free, and most of the sounds are decent enough to be used in something like this. Okay, so we're going to close this out, and there will be a couple more videos.